Hello, my name's Sue Lewis and I'm going to be running you through this presentation today. So this is aimed at Year 12 students and it's helping you to get started with your career planning by showing all the options available at 18. So I work at the University of Bath on Careerpilot. The university supports Careerpilot along with 19 other universities, but Careerpilot isn't just about progression to university, it's completely impartial, showing you all the different routes. So it's about all the careers information being in one place. So what we're going to do is run through your options at 18, but to start off with, I'm going to give you a quick presentation and then you can have some time on Careerpilot to explore the things you're particularly interested in. So my question to you first of all is, what drives you? If you had to choose 3 of these things that are the most important things for you in your life and maybe your future career, which 3 would you choose? So it can be hard to actually identify 3 of these things because they might all seem very important to you, and that's kind of fine. But these sort of things can be really useful in helping you think about your future course or your future career. What drives you? What are your motivations, your values, your interests? What do you see yourself being passionate about into the future? Because if you can get a job or a course that fits with those things, then that might make you feel a lot happier in the future and much more motivated to do well. So you're in charge of your own career, but we are here to help, and we've got a video which just kind of explains how you can be managing your own career. So I'm just going to play that to you quickly now.
Imagine your life in 10 years' time. Are you being driven to work in your electric car? Eating meatless burgers for lunch with robots cleaning your home? Technology is changing jobs. In 10 years, there'll be lots of new jobs, while others will change or simply disappear. You're likely to be in work for 50 years and have at least 10 different jobs by the time you're 42. Seem like a long way off? A happy future starts with some of the decisions you take in the next few years. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Firstly, know yourself. You are unique. You have likes, dislikes, strengths, qualities, and things you value that are important to you. These things can help you identify a future career. You have skills too, from school, hobbies, work, or volunteering. Imagine you are learning something new, like photography or rock climbing. You will use a range of different skills. Many of these are transferable. Skills that you can take from one job to another. Employers love these. The second thing you can do is do stuff. Trying out new stuff makes you feel good about yourself and builds transferable skills. For example, you may or may not pass your driving test first time. It doesn't matter. Learning new things develops transferable skills and increases your ability to bounce back and keep trying. That's called resilience. Skills can lead to part-time jobs, useful cash, and jobs in the future. You can also talk about these skills on job applications and in interviews. So you know what you like and you're good at. You're trying new things and building skills and experiences. What else can you do? The third thing you can do is to make sure you know all your options. Do you know what qualification and grades you need? Will the course or training help you on your journey? Which option would be best for you? And if your plan A looks watertight, always have a plan B and even a plan C just in case. The fourth thing is to make sure you use your supporters. Teachers, family, friends and coaches know you well. They'll help you identify your strengths, skills and interests and help you on your way. If you can, grab a chance to talk to a careers advisor. You'll get individual help with your plan. They're professionally trained and have loads of up-to-date information. They'll listen to you, inspire you, and help you create a plan for the future. And there's Careerpilot too. A free website with all the careers information in one place, showing you all your options, including information on jobs, courses, and lots more. Use the career tools to find out more about you and save all of this in one place to share with your supporters. So to get ready for careers, what should you be doing now? Know yourself. Do stuff and develop your skills. Make sure you know all your options. Use your supporters. Your future starts now. Get ready.
So hopefully you can see from the video some of the things you can be doing to actually start managing your own career. So we're just going to go through some of those and show you some of the things you can do on Careerpilot that are going to help you with that. So in terms of knowing yourself, we've got specific activities in Start With You on the Careerpilot website. Some you might have done earlier on when you were in year 11, for example. Some are actually aimed specifically at post-16 students. So what you'll find here, in terms of helping you make a decision for the future, you could start with a subject you feel passionate about. So if it's a subject you love, here you can find out where subjects might lead. You can also do our skills map. This is really useful if you're planning to go to university and you need to write a personal statement. This can start you thinking about what you've already done and show you the skills you've got so you can use those when you have to write on your personal statement. You can also look at our qualification ladder, say what you've done, what you're doing currently, and look at what might be available in the future. So just to show you some of those things, a little bit of overview. Start with the subject, 21 subjects, some you might like a lot, some you might love. So you can click on the ones you love and see where they might lead. So you get suggestions of jobs, university courses, sample apprenticeships, and also courses within the colleges. Do the skills map. So this asks you what you've done in your life, you learn your work. You can take as many answers as you want. And for each one you take, it'll show you what skill that's helped you to develop. So if you have kept going with a hobby or sport out of school, then you're showing resilience or the ability to stay positive. And all these things are really wanted by university courses, but also by employers. So this creates your skills profile. And in the profile you'll find all the examples generated by the quiz. And the idea is you add your own examples, because there might be loads of other things you've done that we haven't mentioned on our quiz. So it might be something you've done out of school, in school, just any examples you've got of things you've done. What you can do then is actually identify what skills they've given you, and they'll be added to your skills bank along with all the things that come from the quiz. So for this student, you can see teamwork. They've got 5 examples from the quiz. Then they've added some of their own activities, thought about the skills they've given them, one of which was teamwork, and that shows up as an example. So all the examples are banked here for you. One other thing you can do is compare your skills to the skills required for a job. So if you click, if you just put in nurse or doctor or whatever it might be, you can actually find out what skills that job requires and what skills you've got. When you come to apply, you can identify what it is you're applying for. It might again be a nurse or maybe an engineer, whatever it might be, and think about the skills you most need to flag up for that experience, and then you'll be able to see all your examples, and then you can write that in the right format for a personal statement or an application, and then copy and paste it into whatever you're using. So in terms of doing stuff, then obviously your prime concern this next year will be your A-levels or your BTECs. But you might be doing other things out of the school environment. You might be volunteering, work experience you might get to do this year. All those things are going to be really important, your part-time jobs, because they're the things that actually help you build your CV. So don't drop those. They're great for showing on your CV. So in terms of knowing all the options, that's the focus of today's session. I'm going to run through some of those options with you, and then you can have time to explore. So you probably know already you've got 3 particular pathways you can choose. The academic pathway, the vocational, which you learn about a job area, work-based, where you're being trained to do a specific job with an employer. In England, we have a range of different levels of qualifications, and they go right up to level 8, in fact. So you will have already done level 1 or level 2. So if you're in sixth form, then you probably had 5 GCSEs, a grade 4 and above, and now you're doing a level 2 or a level 3 course in the sixth form. So you could be doing A-levels, which is the academic pathway. You could be doing vocational, which are things like BTEC, OCR, and there are others. You're not going to be doing a work-based qualification quite yet if you're in the sixth form. And you might be doing a combination of one A-level plus some a BTEC course. So your next decision point is what you're going to do at the next level. So that's level 4. So that's equivalent to the first year of a degree. So it might be you decide you want to go on the degree pathway. But there are other pathways too. There's a vocational pathway that is available through colleges, where you could do a foundation degree or a higher national certificate. You could also do a work-based qualification, because you could do an apprenticeship. Sometimes you need to be aware that because you might not have the knowledge of that work environment, you might have to go down to an advanced apprenticeship level and then move up through the higher levels of apprenticeships. So level 5 is equivalent to the second year of degree, and you can see the second year of a foundation degree or the second year of a higher or degree apprenticeship. And level 6 is when the degree is achieved. So from any of those pathways you can progress on to do a degree. You could do a foundation degree for 2 years, then move up and do a degree for the 3rd year. So your point of decision now is actually moving either from 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, and thinking about what pathway and what options were going to suit you best. So the pathways you can choose, we've talked a little bit about. You can do a degree course at a university, which is the academic pathway. You can also do a degree at a college, which is the academic vocational pathway. So those degree courses are related to a job area. And work-based, as we said, you could do an apprenticeship, or you can sometimes get an employer-sponsored degree, which I'll mention as we go through. So in terms of a degree at university, you probably know already that's 3 to 4 years. If you do it through the college, it's usually a 2-year foundation degree or HNC, HND, and then you can top up to a degree in the 3rd year. If you do a degree through the apprenticeship pathway, it can take quite a few years, but you will be working and earning as you develop towards a degree level. But you don't have to get to a degree through the apprenticeship pathways. You can pop off at different levels. There's hundreds of courses at universities. Some are combination things, music with maths, for example, or you could just do maths or just do music. So there's lots of things to look at. In a college environment, if you're doing a degree there, they're very much linked to vocational areas. And then obviously work-based, if you're doing an apprenticeship, you're actually being trained to do a specific job. So for the college environment and university, there are student loans available to help you pay your fees and to help to pay your living costs. If you're doing an apprenticeship, then you will get paid because you're essentially a member of that workforce while you're doing your training. The basic you'll get is £153.55, but a lot of employers top that up, so you can get quite a lot more than that. So there are some of the pathways too. There's the gap year option, which is a bit tricky at the moment because we can't really travel very far, but you could think about getting a job as a gap year opportunity. You could go straight into employment after sixth form, and you could go to college and do a level 3 course if you're currently on a level 2 course at sixth form. So just a quick quiz for you. So my question is, do you need to have a degree or apprenticeship to become a nurse? So it used to be the case that you got to be a nurse through apprenticeship. You sort of learned on the job. Then they made it that you had to have a degree. But now we have both pathways, a degree and an apprenticeship pathway. So those are both available to become a nurse. Dentist. Do you think you need a degree or apprenticeship, or are they both pathways? In fact, for a dentist, there's only one pathway. You need a degree in order to become a dentist. That isn't an apprenticeship pathway. Solicitor. Again, there's both pathways now. If you do an apprenticeship pathway, it can take longer, but there are certainly really good apprenticeships out there. We can train up in the legal profession to become a solicitor. The key thing with apprenticeships is you have to check to see whether one exists in the thing you want to do. And on Careerpilot we have an A to Z all the available apprenticeship frameworks, so that is there one, does one exist? You still have to remember you have to find one, like finding a job. So you have to look for vacancies of an employer who's prepared to train you in that particular job area. So if you're interested in apprenticeship, as we said before, there's lots of levels. You do need to find them, and on Careerpilot we have apprenticeship vacancy search. gov.uk has an apprenticeship search as well. Not going to university, they have lots of apprenticeship vacancies. They're all probably the same sort of apprenticeship vacancies and all different, but these are different sources you can use. Amazing Apprenticeships is a really good website. You can actually look at an employer there and see who's offering apprenticeships. So there's a really good way to just explore and see what's available. Just bear in mind, as I said before, if you haven't got the sort of technical knowledge for that job, you might have to go sideways or start at a lower level and build up your technical knowledge before you actually progress through the levels. There is an option to get some employer sponsorship sometime, just putting up some examples. So the Flying Start, Business Flying Start degree programme through PwC, and there's things through engineering. So if you look for these opportunities, it means that the employer is going to support you in getting this degree. So they're going to pay your fees and at university, and they'll give you a job in holiday times. So it could be great, you could actually end up with a degree without any debt. But do bear in mind, you're probably going to be working over your holidays when your friends might not be, because that will be the expectation. And it's really important to you check the small print, because a company is paying for you to do the degree. They're probably going to expect you to come and work for them for a year or two afterwards. So just check those things out. But they can be a really good way to get a degree without a cost. So if you're thinking about higher education at college, then, as I mentioned, you could do a foundation degree or a HNC, which then goes on to a HND. So that was a 2-year course, and then you could top up to a degree in the 3rd year. So this is a degree that combines both academic and vocational qualifications. So the subjects on offer relate to a vocational area. So you'll get some work experience and placements as part of the course, and your projects will be about working in those different places. If you're doing this through a college, a foundation degree or HNC, HND, there's often lower fees than a university and often lower grades needed to get in as well. So if you think about university, which I guess quite a few people might be, there are thousands of courses to choose from, and there's 130 universities. So it can be like, where do I start? What we suggest, a good place to start is deciding which course you want to do, and then thinking about where you might do it by finding and comparing the different places that offer it and looking closely at what type of course they offer. So in terms of deciding what course to do, as I showed you earlier, you can think about the things that drive you, your values, your interests, the subject you feel passionate about. You can start with a job and work back, what degree is going to help me get into this job area. But sometimes people aren't ready for that. They are passionate about a subject. You could do that at degree level, and then you could think about jobs later. Employers do really like people with any sort of degree. So that, if that's where you're starting from, then stick with your subject and then think about that later. Then you need to find a place that's offering the course you want to do, and then compare them, look at them in some detail. They can be quite different. An English literature course at one university could be quite different from an English lit course in another university. Think about what you're offering, what UCAS tariff points you're going to get for the A-levels and BTECs you might be doing. So work that out and see what you need for a particular course. Look also at other things, accommodation costs, student satisfaction, all those things are going to help you make a choice. On Careerpilot, we do have a degree search tool. You can find out quite a lot of the information there. And UCAS is another website that you will have heard of through school. So look in detail. Don't forget other things like, what is the average rent that people pay nationally? Does anybody know the answer? Do you want to have a guess? Per week, how much is the rent, do you think, that a student pays? Or their family sometimes? Well, the average is £126 a week, but that does vary across the country, so that might be something you want to take into account too. London can be the most expensive, but certain places are cheaper. Cardiff has a good reputation for being cheaper for some reason. So you can think about that too when you're making a decision. Do check out other things. Does it include your rent or your bills or your Wi-Fi? You're going to have to pay those on top. It's worth just checking out all the details. So if you're thinking about work and training, so this is where you might be going into work and actually hopefully doing some additional qualifications as you do the job. In Careerpilot, we have lots of job sectors, lots of information about the jobs. And if you go to useful links, there's lots of key links to finding jobs in that sector and also to building up your knowledge about that sector before you apply. So it's definitely worth having a look there if you're thinking about going straight into work. Top tip, If you are thinking about an apprenticeship, we would always suggest that your plan A is you apply for university in January, if you're thinking that might be an option for you. But plan B then is you start looking for an apprenticeship, because the vacancies for apprenticeships often come out after the closing date for university. Because you can always decline your place at university later if you get a great apprenticeship. So Careerpilot has all the information you need. It shows you all the information about all the things I've talked about today. So if you go to choices at 18, you can see all the different things. Just to mention too, there's lots of free online courses universities put out, which you don't need a degree to do. They're just if you're interested in a particular topic. Great way to find out about a particular type of course you might be interested in, but look really good in your personal statements if you've done one of these. They're short courses that take about 2 to 6 weeks, just doing a few hours a week. It's all online, so you can drop in whenever you want to. So it's time now for you to have an explore of Careerpilot. You're going to have a little look at some of these things I've mentioned in Start With You, and some things in Explore Your Options. So you've got about 25 minutes to have a look around Careerpilot. So put a timer up so you can see how the time goes. And the web address is careerpilot.org.uk. Okay, so I'm going to assume you've had a good time to look at those particular things on Careerpilot. I just want to finish off by explaining about how you use your supporters, and then getting you going on something new called the Pathway Planner. So use your supporters, you'll know who they are, the people in school, your head of six, teachers, family, friends. Hopefully you can get access to a careers advisor. You've got Careerpilot there as well. Now what we want you to do now is, having given you some time to think about all your options and to explore the ones you're particularly interested in, we'd like to know which ones you are interested in. Don't worry, you can change this later. It's not fixed in stone. It might be early on in year 12 for you to know the answer to all that. But what we'd like you to do is do the Pathway Planner, which is available here. So what this is going to enable you to do is think about the pathways that you are interested in, and then answer some questions so we can tell you how ready you are at this point for that pathway. And what we're going to do then is actually provide you with some careers guidance to help you move on in that progression pathway, or explore it. Maybe you want to change your mind. So what the Pathway Planner will offer you are the different pathways that are available to you. You can say we are definite or considering. And then for each one you're definitely considering, you have to answer each row. So even if you're not doing, you have to put that in. You do a quiz, you start the guidance quiz, and then that'll ask you about the pathways and then give you a chance to think about some of the key things that you might need to know in order to progress in that pathway. Don't worry if you don't know all the information now, we're going to help you sort that out. But it would be useful for you to know what you need to think about, but for us to know where you're at so we can help you in whatever way we can. That will give you a green, amber, red score on your different pathways. So this student is definitely about university, but at amber, which just means they've probably got quite a lot of ideas, but maybe there's some additional information that will help them. So that's the sort of help that we're going to be able to give you. Everybody's going to get a careers interview with our careers guidance advisor, so do watch out for an invitation by email, so that you can come along and make best use of that time, and we will be targeting that time to suit your particular needs. So one other thing in terms of planning your future career, you can always use Careerpilot to access this information whenever you want to, but you can also put some action points in. Just from today's session, you might already have thought of 1 or 2 things that you really could be doing to move your career on. So you can put them in there and they're recorded and saved for the future. I mentioned adding things to your career tools a few times. When you've done that, they'll appear here so you can look at your job sectors, your courses, but they also work towards a big report which can move up with you every year, which can be quite detailed, and your careers advisor can put their comments on here too, so you've got everything in one place. You could share that with your parents, for example. So just in summary, hopefully you've got information now that's going to help you start exploring the details of what's available and which of those choices might suit you. So it is returning to those things we talked about in the video. Careerpilot's there to help you, so make best use of that, careerpilot.org.uk. Good luck with your future careers, and thank you so much for listening today.